the question of what are those challenges with the rule of law in Nigeria? Speak to that, please.
The major challenges can only be from those who execute our laws. In other words, the executive. Most people do not realize that the police is part of the executive, and it is the #1 lawbreaker in this country. Chief of staff of a governor in Kwara State granted bail. Police said never. Charge him to court? No. So what are you doing there with him? Nothing. You have the EFCC. These days, they now keep people there, say we're investigating. There's even an aberration of that law, the EFCC Act. They go to and seize their property and say so and so. First, they say, we suspect it is a proceed of corruption. Then when they get the order to have interim forfeiture, they say, okay, let the owner come out. Did they ever prove corruption? They did not, but they have the order. The Minister of Justice in this country is doing us a lot of disservice. This issue of rule of law, being subject to national interest, national security, he started propounding it. In court, he has never showed one law, known as the security law, that empowers anybody to detain somebody against court order. Not one. And in this country, people don't know that anything we do, within minutes, is seen all over the world. So if you are coming to do business in Nigeria, the first assessment is their legal system. Is the law being followed? You say, no. It depends on whether the Attorney General likes it or not. The police will decide which one to obey. And once they do that, they have written off your country in terms of adjudication. And people don't know that most business negotiations done in this country involving internationals, they provide for arbitration. They don't provide for Nigerian law. They provide for British law. And venue, London.
Now,
but the business is to be done in Nigeria.
Yes. Because Nigerian legal system is now, see, freedom of the judiciary is an issue. When the judges' homes were raided, the world listened. The world watched. They showed all kinds of money and so on and so forth. Most lawyers knew they were talking rubbish. At the end of the day, everything collapsed. The other day we saw out of the legislature. The world watched. Hooded men, guns, telling us what to do. In other words, armed democracy. A carryover of dictatorship.
So for you, it is about the executive not doing its part.
That's
what
true.
about the judiciary? How partial or impartial is the judiciary in the dispensation of justice?
Now, before you answer that, Mr. Ojo, just let me read this from Festus Akinboye, where it says, for Nigerians to have absolute trust and confidence in the rule of law, our judiciary must be independent and impartial. It's only then that we can expect government to be totally bound by the law.
Well, I will say the judiciary is the most powerful arm of government in Nigeria in terms of their ability to pronounce on the actions or inactions of the other two arms and every other person in Nigeria.
But are they independent?
Yes, but beyond that, they are the weakest.
So they are supposed to be the strongest?
Yes, but beyond that, they are the weakest because before anybody will activate the judiciary, the harm might have been done already. You understand? So usually judiciary give redress. They also prevent, for instance, if you think your right is likely to be violated, there's provision in the Constitution, you do have to wait. When you suspect that they are planning something against me, quickly you can go to court and obtain an order. But it's also just subject to the personalities of the judges themselves. Because at times, some judges may be very timid. It's a personal trait. Personal trait from their upbringing, the way they became lawyers, were they activists before they become judges, and so on. When they were lawyers, what were they doing? Have they ever practiced? Have they ever enforced fundamental rights of others before they became judges? So that's why somebody will suspect that his house is about to be demolished. And he rushes to court. Ex parte, give me another. And the rule of law is that ex parte order will subsist just for 7 days. Give me another to restrain the impending demolition of my house. And the judge said, put the demolisher on notice. Come back on Thursday, on the next week, Monday.
And the deed will have
and
been
on
done.
Sunday, 4 a.m.
The house was demolished.
So, such situation disappoints the people. Even it disappoints the rule of law. The law has empowered you as a judge to intervene. Give an order. For 7 days, say, hold on. Just for 7 days. Heavens will not fall within 7 days. Hold on. Then come back to me and tell me why you must do what you want to do. Simple. But when the judge himself is timid, is not courageous. Look, Justice Aguda, he granted ex parte order in a sitting room. He called the registrar, bring the file. Once the registrar is present and the lawyers are present, the judge can grant an order ex parte.
That's true.
And it will be legal.
Of course.
The court is.
But nowadays,
it doesn't have to be in a courthouse.
It doesn't have to be in the courthouse because the rights of the individual is sacrosanct, must be protected by the judiciary. So we have members of the judiciary who are also living to their responsibility. And we have many of them. They are courageous. They are not timid. They are all out to preserve the rights of the people. We have many of them. We also have the timid ones. So it's human, it's normal that we have different categories of judges. But generally, the judiciary, they have been performing wonders within their limitations. You talk of resources. Now, there is an ongoing battle about the independence of the judiciary in the states. The federal government has to begin to tell the states, give them their financial independence now. After all, we release their money. Let their money come the same way your own come. Is an arm of government. Yeah. So let them be independent. The executives have been using that financial power to muzzle them. You will now see a chief judge going to the office of the governor, commissioner for justice. The salary of the judges, it has not been paid. In some states, they are owing judges salaries.
Yes.
Why? Because their money was diverted by the governor. That is a violation. That's, in fact, at the end of the day, everything still turns back to the executive arm. They are the ones who misconduct. They are the ones who violate and who make people to rush to the court. If they have been obeying the constitution without saying that people should go to court and go and seek remedy in court, then everybody, everywhere will be at peace. So why can't they examine the implication of what they want to do before they do it? Most times they do. But there is impunity of the highest order in the executive arm of government.
Okay, let's look at the legislature. What's the role of the legislature in this?
It's the second leg of what he has said.
Yeah.
The legislature is people who are not conscious. They don't have the fear of God. They don't make laws for the good governance as provided for in Section 7 of the 1999 Constitution. As I talk to you now, you and I know, the 8th Assembly is about folding up. I don't think they have made any law for that affects the common man. Let's say, call the governor of Central Bank. We want the interest rate to come down. We want you to lend to the small businesses. Yeah. The law, how do we do it? They tell them, they make a law. Open the space for people, private individuals. Now you see people trying to set up business, support private businesses. Support those who are going into manufacturing, create the enabling environment and so on. That is not there. I travel on the road most of the time. You see that all these people that say that they are constituency projects, there is no constituency projects anywhere. But that's not where I'm going. Where I'm going in fact is the people that are watching this program. If you don't people the legislature by people who know what to do, who have the feeling. My brother was talking about those who have won the shoe. Many of the judges, some of them, maybe they are well connected. Some of them, as soon as they left school, they went and worked in Mobile or worked in a corporate office. They never knew the nitty-gritty of practice. Some of us have been in practice. We know what it is. Imagine you leave your home 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, you get to court with the struggle of traffic in Lagos, and you get to court, they tell you the court is not sitting. And what? The judge is, maybe it's late, or sometimes you wait for the judge till 10, 11 before the judge comes. He lives in Ikoyi, he's travel driven, and he's driving against the traffic. And you are there waiting. And unfortunately, the law is that as soon as it comes in, what do we all do? We stand up together and say, as the court pleases, you don't have anything to say. So where am I going is that the legislature too they have a fault in all these issues of rule of law and co. One will expect that indeed they will have set up a committee, look at the Constitution, look at the Constitution particularly, to ensure that aspects of the Constitution that would conflict with the interest of the people are removed and made for the people to now be involved in governance. No, what we have is that everyone, they just take advantage of the situation. Mostly their own interest is what is paramount. And once that is done, obviously it is the people that will suffer. We are going to another cycle of elections, and I hope that people, I'm talking now because I'm involved in election and electoral activities, that people should shine their eyes. Those who have not delivered on their mandate to you, in your community, please ensure that they don't return back to the National Assembly or to the various houses of assembly.